emergency.
Search and rescue in progress.
My name's Todd Woodall. I've been a first responder for 27 years. Did 5 years as a paramedic, and in 2003 I hired on with the Grapevine Fire Department, and I've been with Grapevine for 22 years.
Medics in additional aids that like respond that fire too.
So we train all the time on fighting a fire. You know, we're very comfortable with it because we train on it. We have all the tools that we need to fix the problem. That's what we do really in the fire service, is fix problems, whether it's a fire or a wreck or an EMS call. And we're really, really good at that. But it's things we can see, right? We can fix things we can see. When you can't see it, and it's something that you haven't trained on a lot, and you don't have the tools to fix it, that's a problem. I think that's a disconnect in the fire service, is we're really good at helping other people, but we suck at helping ourselves. And that's the reason I'm here. Is to try to break that stigma and help everybody realize that it's okay to help yourself. You know, we do enough for everyone else. Sometimes we need to do something for ourselves too. I think it's kind of ingrained in the fire service specifically, that we're able to handle things that other people aren't. Kind of like I've heard a bunch of times, well, we're built different, right? Like we can handle things most people can't. And that's our mentality, and that's kind of the way we feel. And in reality, that's pretty misleading, because we're not built any different than anybody else. And we deal with the same problems that everybody else deals with, you know, life problems, marriage problems, all the other things. But we also have, you know, all the things that we see also on top of that. So we like to think that we're made of steel and we can handle anything, but eventually it catches up to all of us. I think anybody that's been in the fire service or EMS for any length of time can recount a handful of calls that really affected you and that you never totally forget. I've had several over the last 27 years. So the first call that I can remember that actually really bothered me, I was actually working in Brownwood at the time. This was back in 2000. I'm dating myself a little bit, but it's been that long ago. I've been in EMS about a year and a half, and I had my first 2 pediatric CPRs within 8 hours of each other. One of them was a SIDS call early in the morning. I had my oldest was less than a year old at the time, so similar age. Baby didn't make it. It was pretty tough. That afternoon, we had a 9-year-old that drowned at the Howard Payne pool. So we showed up and did everything we could. And that's kind of the hard part of our job sometimes. You can do everything right and it still doesn't work. A lot of jobs, if you do everything right, you know, you get an attaboy. And sometimes we do all we can do and it's just not enough. And I remember going home from that shift and I told my wife, I said, I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to do.
Roger is fully involved.
I'd always heard of PTSD, and what I always thought of was, you know, our military. You know, that's you always heard that term in relation to a service member in the military. So I never really thought about it in the fire service much. I knew we saw some hard things, but you know, PTSD, that's for military people, that's not for us. I've learned now, you know, through therapy and through training that it's exactly what we're dealing with. I don't really like the trigger words, they kind of bother me. So, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder, is it really a disorder? I mean, it's post-traumatic stress. Yeah, we're dealing with an event that's taken a toll on us, but I'm not sure it is a disorder, but obviously it's an event that happened that's going to be very hard to get through. And it's taken us a long time in the fire service for us to start taking it serious and realizing that that's exactly what's going on. And I think we've turned a corner on that. But still there's a lot of people that don't know. And there's help out there to overcome. And luckily we have learned from decades of military service, and with EMDR and therapy, stuff like that, there's a solution to the problem. And I didn't know that for a long time. And when I finally went to therapy, it was a life-changing thing for me. And it seems like voodoo witchcraft, the whole process of it, it's hard for me to explain. All I can tell you is it works. And within 6 weeks, I was back to where I was. I mean, it's a process that takes a while, but I can tell you with every treatment, I felt better and kind of got back to my old self. My only regret is not doing it sooner. And I wished I would have taken the steps to get better sooner, because nobody deserves to punish themselves like I punished myself. Everybody has a bucket inside of them, and it's just a bucket of stress, of problems, of things that bother you. Some people's buckets are really small. Some people's buckets are really big. If your bucket's not very big, then you have to deal with your problems as they come. Turns out my bucket is pretty big, which I thought was a great thing. It turns out it's not, because when that bucket fills up, it's a lot harder to empty out. And when my bucket started overflowing, I had no plans. I had no idea how to fix it. And it's a tough situation to be in. And that's why I'm sharing my story, to show other people how to empty that bucket and how not to get stuck in that fight or flight mode and just feel like you're fighting every day. Life can be better than that, and we all deserve that. We all like to think that we're invincible. We like to think that we can handle anything. But it took 26 years for everything to build up on me so much that I couldn't handle it. You think about just everyday life. Life's hard. You know, you're worried about keeping a roof over your head, raising your kids. You have curveballs that life throws at you. And then we have all of the traumatic events that we see on top of that. I think it's very naive to think that we are going to go through our whole career and not need help. And I think we just have that mindset so much that when we need help, we don't know what to do. So that's why I'm telling my story, is because we have resources out there now, and some people don't know about it yet. And even some of the people that do are a little scared to reach out. What are my buddies gonna think? I'm supposed to be the tough guy, and oh, you went to therapy, I'll be the first to admit 25-year-old me would probably be laughing at me right now. But I wish that version of me knew what I know now, because it's not if, it's when we're gonna need help. And having the right tools in place when you do need help, I promise you, can save your life, can save your family, save your career.